We got a new Days Gone update, new challenges to play, a new item is unlocked, and it seems like Sony Band is not done supporting this game, with them clearly being aware of some of the features that we want to see. In this video I wanted to give you a roundup of what was recently added to Days Gone, my impressions so far, and way more. Would of course be awesome if you could leave a like on the video as it shows support. And let's go. I've been on a holiday and a lot of other things happened, so I sadly was not able to cover all the Days Gone updates and challenges they added recently. So I wanted to do one big video to cover everything and then start covering everything again as it happens, as you come to expect from me. So let's start now with the latest 1.26 update. That is a small one, it was only 140 MB for me, and was mostly just there to fix the stability issues that some players had after 1.25 that also dropped, and that was the week before that. And this had more specific fixes, like for example where players were not able to progress properly in the It's a Rival Not a Gun mission, or where a nest should repopulate properly after you were killed right after burning a nest. You see the other general fixes here. I put a link to the full patch notes as well in the description of this video, so you can check it out if you want. And they also added a new bike decal for free that you can now rock, the Farewell Mongrels one that was actually already added with a recent update 1.21, but thanks to a bug it did not appear. I also mentioned this in my 1.21 update video. Well, now if you go to the mechanic in the main game, it should be there so you can rock it. And on Twitter they note that they have more of these decals coming to the game in the future. And here you see me rock the Farewell Mongrels one in the latest challenge, where your bike is actually at the beginning of the challenge. And these challenges are of course also added via these updates, so that's why they are sometimes pretty large in size. Anyway, the latest challenge they added is called Ambush Camp Rush, where you have to clear an ambush camp with 25 enemies as fast as possible, but also kill these enemies a certain way for the sub-challenges. And while you could get stressed thanks to the timer, I do like the fact that this challenge pushes you to play the game differently, and maybe in ways you would not have done before. Like, you could easily complete the campaign of Days Gone without using the Reseek Bolt, but it's totally a fun ammo type to use to let the enemies go crazy and turn them against each other. It's smart to pick the sniper that you find on your right hand side when you begin, because that enemy has a great range advantage over the other marauders in the camp, so it will be hard to take out, while it can easily take out some enemies for you. Although my buddy Assault Rival guy did a great job there as well, killing a lot of enemies to help me get points and also the sub challenge. You also need to kill enemies with throwables or take them out stealthy, and again do that as fast as possible. Although it's slightly smarter to pick off these medals one by one and then just speedrun at 1 point without really having to worry about killing enemies a certain way. I think the vampire and the slider rings are nice here. Slider to pick up items by sliding next to them. You are very low on items at the beginning of this challenge, so scouting everything in the camp for resources to craft bandages is really important, and you will also find some nice weapons in the camp too, so totally go look around. And by the way, speaking of the rings, I noticed a secret change because Sony Band changed one of the ring items with a recent update. Like the snake first had the heart icon, as we see in the footage from my update 1.21 video, and now if we look at it, we see that it is like a tire with like a circle around it, showing the drifting, and that obviously makes more sense for the ring. I would say that the second challenge they added, called Survival, is my second favorite one right now. I still think that the surrounded one with the unlimited horde is my favorite, but this new one is pretty cool too. And for this one I use the bullet ring, so you can reload when rolling, because you will be in combat all the time. You start out with only a knife and 2 enemies in front of you that you totally want to stealth kill, because that's also needed for a sub challenge. And then immediately after that a new wave of enemies will come, and after killing that wave another wave of enemies will come, etc, etc. And I really like that how further you get in this challenge, the better the weapons are that the enemies drop. So it starts out with rank 1 weapons, then they have rank 2 weapons, rank 3, rank 4, Like, it goes on and on. So you'll be changing weapons all the time, using different categories as well. Also because the ammo is pretty limited, and because the ranks increase the further you get, you will also get stronger the further you get, while there will also be tougher enemies. Using a melee weapon will be very handy too, and that's actually needed for a sub-challenge, like 30 kills with a melee weapon for the gold medal. So it's smart to pick up melee weapons from the enemies that come at you with a melee weapon and then use it against the other enemies, and use the scrap from the cars to make sure that your melee weapon doesn't break, so you can keep using it. Stealth kills are also needed for a sub-challenge, and I found that the smoke bomb worked for that as well, because all the enemies will be totally onto you all the time, but when they are stunned from the smoke bomb, you can take them out with a stealth attack that will count towards your sub-challenge. Another example of having to use a tool that you likely did not use a lot in the main game, at least I never really bothered with the smoke bombs, but in this challenge they really come in handy. We'll totally try and get all the sub-challenges for this one and get the gold rank. I just really like this constant combat focus and having to use the different weapons. I might stream this one in the future as well. We, by the way, already know what the upcoming challenge will be. That will be live on July 26th, thanks to the event section on the PlayStation 4. It's called Keep Them Safer, and will be a new Horde 1 in a familiar location that we actually already had to clear in the main campaign. We saw a small bit of footage of this already in the short Twitter video that they released, so I really can't wait for this one. Again, I loved the first Horde challenge, so curious how this one will be, and that will likely be part of an update that hopefully also adds more character skins. Right now we only have the 4 that I actually already showed in my previous video. I now got them all unlocked though, but I'm curious to see what the other ones will look like. We know that Carlos is coming, we know that Eddie is coming, and some Deacon variants. I totally expect at least 1 or 2 surprises as well, so hopefully they add those 2 with the coming update. And speaking of more things that are coming to the game director Jeff Ross seems to be aware of a lot of our requests. I mean, I'm sure they read Reddit and check Twitter if they are tagged all the time, but it's also nice to see them respond to people and saying that they are aware that people want, for example, a physical flashlight for Deacon. Not really something that bothered me, but I can see where people are coming from, I guess. I would really like, though, the ability to switch outfits at the locker. Different outfits for Deacon are obviously available in the game. Just give us a way to change to the one that we want. Maybe after you finish the game, or just the moment you unlock a new outfit. Of course, the character skins in the main game would be even better, and then just switch to Deacon in the cutscenes. Although I can see why that would not really work, or just take you out of the story or something like that. So yes, Red Huku posted this on Twitter, and the game director said noted. So again, they are aware, and New Game Plus is obviously in this tweet too, so that we are able to replay the game with all our weapons and guns and like these skills. I really think that they are at least looking into it, and hopefully they can make it work. It would be awesome, as I said many times before, with the new survival difficulty. And the new patches that you get from the challenge modes are of course already available now in the main game, and they also add some small advantages that will be fun to use in the New Game Plus mode as well. So every time a new challenge unlocks, a new patch unlocks as well, that you can then get if you at least get the bronze medal for that challenge. The first challenge gave us the extra stamina efficiency, so that stamina cost is reduced. Then we got the health item potency for the second challenge, that will give you more health when using, for example, a medkit or bandage. You can refuel your bike faster with the patch from the third challenge, and with Condemned from the fourth challenge, we can let our bullets penetrate through more enemies. And the patches make sense for the challenges, like the third patch that was linked to our bike is a reward for completing the bike challenge that I actually did not touch on yet. I mean, I like the bike as a way to traverse the open world, but not really much more, and it's really a bike racing challenge where you have to deliver bandages to 7 locations and then reach the finish line. Using the ramps is needed for a sub-challenge, just like airtime, so that kind of goes hand in hand. And you need to drift as long as possible and clear the challenge as fast as possible. So this totally requires different skills than the combat challenges, because like dropping on the ground or jumping from way too high will already have you sort of restart the challenge, because it will really be unbeatable. Your route will be super important in this challenge, and knowing where all the ramps are, so I will totally try and perfect that to get a really high score. Totally let me know your progress in the comments down below. Again, this was kind of a video giving you an update on everything that was added to Days Gone since my latest video, and from now on I will be covering the new updates and challenges when they go live, so totally keep it locked to the channel for everything on Days Gone if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel by clicking on my logo, check out my previous video on Days Gone 2 that might be in development, or is Sony Band working on a new region for the game. There is a lot of interesting stuff going on, you can watch that video too. Totally like the video if you haven't already, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye!